Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Good morning, good people. Grand Rising. Good morning, good people. Grand Rising. So, this is the pre-market mantra part of the show where we set the day. Our day is going to be great. It's going to be successful. And we're going to be healthy. So let me start it out with, I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be rich. I deserve to be wealthy. I deserve to be free. The more you learn, the more you earn. Thereby, the more you earn, the more you learn. I am a certified Wall Street trapper. I am confident in my abilities to make great investments. The stock market is a machine that prints money, and I am more than capable of operating this machine. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. All right, so today we're going to get started with AVGO. AVGO, man. Do you see this drop right here? This drop was crazy. So AVGO, they had earnings yesterday, right? So, before I get into that, let me tell you a little bit more about the show. So, this show is focused on the $1 trillion companies in the United States stock market. And these are the biggest, strongest, most valuable companies as far as market cap. And those are the main companies that we focus on this show. And we do talk about other companies, but those are the main 10 that we focus on. And then also SPY and QQQ. So one of our companies that are in our $1 trillion club, they had earnings yesterday. So they beat on earnings by 4%. And they beat on revenue by 3%. So you're like, okay, if they beat, then why did it go down like that? So, because they were very close to the all-time high yesterday at market close. They actually closed at 406.37. And then after the earnings were announced, it went up to 424.19, which was an all-time high in the aftermarket. And then you see from here, this must have been when they started their earnings call, and that thing dropped from 422.90 all the way down. These are 10-minute candles here on the chart, all the way down to 381. So that's like a $40 drop. And then in the pre-market, it also dropped. It hit a pre-market low of 378.50 and a pre-market high of 391.06 with the current pre-market price of 384. So I saw this on Twitter from Trend Spider. It says AVGO got hit with the reverse Uno card. And then they did some calculations here. So in an hour 26 minutes, AVGO fell $42, which is almost 10% of the value. So that's why it's tough, man. If you try to play earnings, it's like a coin flip. It could go either way because they beat on top and bottom, and they still got clapped in the aftermarket. So yeah, if you played earnings to the upside, that thing went to zero. Now if you play puts, you ran that bag up. All right, so let's check all the other pre-market levels here. So NVDA pre-market low of 178.99 with a pre-market high of 138.22. Current price 181.81. Apple pre-market low 277, pre-market high 278.65. Current price 277.67. Google pre-market low 313.08 with a pre-market high of 315.09. Oh yeah, these background instrumentals are brought to you by Matt Rich's 510 AI Music, and we starting the day off with this 528 hertz frequency music. Just makes you feel good when you listen to it. If you don't know about frequency music, put that thing in ChatGPT. Put you up on game right there. Microsoft pre-market low 481.02, pre-market high 484.33. Currently 482. Amazon pre-market low 229.85 with a pre-market high of 230.79, and the current price is right at the pre-market high. Tesla pre-market low 445.05 with a pre-market high of 448.46 and a current price of 447.40. Meta pre-market low 647.65 with a pre-market high of 652.75 and a current pre-market price of 651.49. The VIX is broke under 15, so that normally means we'll be headed bullish for the day, but we'll see. SPY pre-market low 678.55 with a pre-market high of, let me move this up a little bit, 698.65. Current price 688.80. SPY pre-market low 618.30 with a pre-market high of 624.71. Current pre-market price 623.09. AVGO with a pre-market low of 378.50 and a pre-market high of 391.06. Current price 383.94. And next we have TSM pre-market low of 301.40 with a pre-market high of 303.99 and a current pre-market price of 303.10. And last but not least, BRK.B with a pre-market low of 496.78 and a pre-market high of 498.58. All right, so I do want to check all the companies' market caps, but I know AVGO, since they fell so much in the pre-market, I'm going to wait for the market to open before I tell all the market caps, because let's see what it is right now, and then we'll see what it is after market open. So currently, AVGO is at 1.9 trillion. So just remember that when I go over it once the market opens, and we'll see how much it went off. So one thing I do want to do is put this pinned comment into my into my comments section here. So let me go ahead and do that. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let's see, how do I do that? Put it in the chat. Do I put it in the chat? Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I haven't done that before, so give me a minute. So the thing is, I created these flashcards, these stock market basics beginner flashcards for new investors. So I'm gonna post a link in the comments, and then I'm also gonna post a link. I'm gonna post a link into the chat right now. So if you want those free flashcards, go ahead and into the chat and click the link, and I'll give you free flashcards. So right now it has over 50 different flashcards, and it has the ABCs of investing. So you can check that out. It has the ABCs of investing in there. So if you got a young child that you want to teach them the ABCs, you don't have to teach them the regular ABCs. You can teach them the investing ABCs. Or if you just want to learn some new terms, because the thing about trying to learn information when it comes to the stock market, it's like a lot of terms that you haven't heard before. So it's like, how can I teach you when you don't even know what these words mean? So that's the reason why I created the flashcards, because I be trying to tell everybody, especially black people, the benefits of investing in the stock market. And the main response that I get when I ask people, are they invested? And if they are not, why not? They say, because I don't know anything about it. And then it's like, okay, so I try to tell them about it, but then I'm saying all these words that they don't know. So that's what motivated me to go ahead and make these flashcards. So I will continue to add to the flashcard. Right now it's about 50. So we did A through Z as far as the ABCs of investing. And then I also have questions on there. I have beginner questions that I normally get asked. Or, yeah, it's a lot of real basic questions. Let me find some, matter of fact, right quick. So the first question is, what is the stock market? So you click the flip button. So it's basically a flashcard, right? So on the front is a question. You click the flip button, and the answer is on the back. So the answer to what is the stock market? The stock market is a place or system where people buy and sell pieces of companies called stocks. It's simple. A simple question, a simple answer. These are really basic. I'm not trying to speak over your head. I'm just trying to give you the information that you need to be able to make better decisions when it comes to your investing and finances. What is a stock? A stock is a small piece of ownership of a company. So I have 20 basic questions. If you click on the green bar where it says Stock Market Basics Q&A, that'll give you a drop-down menu, and it'll go to deck number 2 where I have 10 more questions. And then underneath that, we have the ABCs of investing. I actually broke it down real small. So each ABC, like the first one is A through E, the second one is F through J, just so people are not overwhelmed. But I did give you the whole 26 letters. I call that the master deck, where it's A through Z. So you can click on that at the bottom. And if you think you know all these terms, then hit shuffle and answer the questions without it being in order. So that'll really show you if you really know it. All right, so today's show is brought to you by Investing Flashcards, Stock Market Basics, Beginner Flashcards for New Investors, created by Matt Rich's 510 AI Music. All right, let's get back to the news. Oh, market is open. Market open, 6:30. Let's go. So what I want to do, I want to check the companies by market cap, and let's see, with AVGO dropping like that. Ooh, you see? That thing dropped 200 billion. Because now it's 1.7 trillion instead of 1.9 trillion. So, NVIDIA. No, before I do that, let me just go with all the companies and say the opening prices. So NVIDIA, we have NVIDIA right now. Oh, let me also put it on a 1 minute chart. NVIDIA, they had some good news. We do have an article from them on Twitter that I'll get to in a minute. They had some good news come out about the H200 chips. NVIDIA is up over 0.5% at 182. Apple, it's a little under break even at 277.94. Google up a little over 0.5% at 314.30. Microsoft is down almost 0.5% at 482. Amazon is down about 0.25% at 229.82. Tesla is up over 1% at 451.45. Meta is down about 0.5% at 649.09. The VIX is back over 15. SPY is down a little bit at 688.30. QQQ is down about 0.5% at 622.15. AVGO down $32, 8% at 374. Goodness gracious. TSM is down a little over 0.5% at 302.65, and BRK.B is up a little over 0.25% at 497. All right, let's check out the market caps, y'all, because you know we deal with the $1 trillion companies only on this show. NVIDIA number 1, 4.4 trillion. Apple number 2 at 4.1 trillion. Google number 3 at 3.8 trillion. Microsoft number 4 at 3.5 trillion. Amazon number 5 at 2.4 trillion. Broadcom number 6 at 1.7 trillion. Meta number 7 at 1.6 trillion. Taiwan Semiconductor number 8 at 1.5 trillion. Tesla number 10, because we're not going to count Saudi Aramco. So Tesla number 9 at 1.4 trillion. And BRK.B number 10 at $1 trillion. We're not going to count Saudi Aramco because most of y'all never even heard of it. So I'm not even going to say it. All right. And then let's check out. So this is I'm using TradingView for my charting. So this chart is with the 8 different charts on here. So we have SPY, QQQ, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, and the VIX. The VIX is the volatility index. So that means the higher the VIX is, the less certainty there is in the market. So when the VIX is running up, prices are usually run down. Okay, so let's wait one more minute before we get to the heat map. All right, let's check out our next piece of news. The next piece of news has to do with Disney and OpenAI making a partnership. So Disney's $1 billion investment in OpenAI, announced today, licenses over 200 characters like Mickey Mouse and Star Wars icons for AI-generated images. and short videos via ChatGPT and Sora 2, marking the first major Hollywood AI content partnership. The 3-year deal emphasizes responsible AI use to safeguard IP, contrasting Disney's prior legal actions against unauthorized use in tools like Google's AI, while providing Disney's access to OpenAI tech for internal innovation. As a blueprint for media AI alliances, it prioritizes revenue from fan engagement over Reddit's data sharing model, potentially hedging against AI slop flooding entertainment though some fans express concern over character authenticity. So shout out to Disney and OpenAI. I actually love that news because I am an AI content creator. I create not only these slapping beats that we have in the background right here, but I also create AI videos. And I do have access to Sora 2, and I will be making some Disney characters today. Since they're not tripping on copyright infringement anymore, I will be making some Disney characters today. I will have Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse promote my flashcards. So shout out to Disney. Alright, let's go to, well, we're just going to check out the heat map. Alright, let's check out the heat map, y'all. So NVIDIA up a little over 0.5%. Apple down a little over 0.25%. AVGO down almost 8%. GE up almost 3%. Google up 0.5%. Microsoft down a little over 0.5%. Palantir down almost 1.5%. Netflix up 2.5%. Tesla up 1.7%. BRK.B almost at break even. Visa, JP Morgan, MasterCard up a little over 0.5%. Bank of America up 0.25%. Walmart a little over break even. All right, let's get back to the news. Oh yeah, I thought this was interesting. So Unusual Whales posted this on Twitter, talking about per UBS Global Wealth Report, this 2025 statistic says 1 in 10 Americans are millionaires. So 23.8 million U.S. adults, or about 9% of the adult population, held net worth over $1 million in 2024, up from 1.6 million in 1995. Driven by asset appreciation and home equity. This equates to roughly 1,000 new U.S. millionaires daily in 2024, with the U.S. comprising nearly 40% of the global millionaires, though many are everyday millionaires, relying on illiquid assets like real estate rather than cash. So I find that interesting that there's so many poor people in America, but 9% of Americans are millionaires. So it's like you either a millionaire or you poor. So that is, you know how they say the middle class is fading. That's what it's looking like. So you either a millionaire or you poor, basically. I mean, it's a few of us that's transitioning from poor to millionaires. But yeah, man, the wealth gap is widening, and that's crazy. That's crazy. Shout out to all the millionaires, man. I'm trying to be like y'all. Okay, this next piece of news is from Unusual Whales as well. The Department of Homeland Security is proposing all U.S. tourist travel visa holders submit DNA to enter the U.S. per NBC. This expands DHS DNA collection efforts, which began in 2020 for certain immigrants and grew under the Trump administration, aiming to enhance border security by cross-referencing genetic data with FBI databases for identity verification and threat detection. Public reactions in the thread highlight privacy fears, likening it to a surveillance state or Black Mirror scenario, as the requirement could catalog genetic profiles of millions of tourists without guaranteed deletion protocols. Okay. I think, why not have tourists submit DNA? Because we need to know who's coming to this country. If this country is the world superpower and people want to take our spot, different countries want to take our spot as the number one superpower in the world. So how would they do that? They would send people over to this country to spy and find out what's going on and find out how they could take us down from the inside. So, and also, not only that, it's like we need to know if these people have diseases. You know what I mean? So they're not coming over here just spreading hella diseases. Like, it's important to know who's coming to the country, man. This open border policy that Biden had is so ridiculous. Like, anybody can come over here. We don't know who you are, but it's okay for you to come over here. No, you need to take the right channels to get here. You need to pay that bread. You need to wait in line, because it's not fair. It's not fair for the people who's waiting in line, who's doing the right thing, taking the right path, filling out the right paperwork to come over here, and then you have people just coming across the border unchecked. We don't know who they are. So, man, I'm with Trump for the border security, man. Aristotle made this post on Twitter. He said, Aristotle is a young black multi-millionaire. And he said, every event I did this year was free. I felt like at a time where people are struggling financially, I wanted to be a person who showed love. I bring out my personal private chef, and I want people to see what it feels like to be treated special. To know someone who genuinely gives AF out here. It's me, folks. God bless. Now, Aristotle is one of the best, most popular black traders that we know. He day trades, he does leaps, he invests for the long term, and he actually shows his portfolio and he shows his trades. So shout out to Aristotle, man. He's definitely making moves and definitely a powerhouse in this financial freedom movement. Next piece of news, we have Donald Trump signed an executive order on artificial intelligence aiming to set a national standard and preempt state laws on technology amid U.S. efforts to maintain tech dominance over China. So basically, we do have a clip, some audio on here.
It's a big part of the economy. And there's only going to be, I think, one winner here. I don't know if anybody agrees with that. I think most people agree, but there's only going to be one winner here. And that's probably going to be the U.S. or China. And right now we're winning by a lot.
Critics, however, warn that unchecked AI development could put Americans at risk. Major AI players like OpenAI, Google, and Meta have said the federal government, not states, should regulate the industry.
We have the big investment coming, but if they had to get 50 different approvals from 50 different states, you can forget it because it's not possible to do, especially if you have some hostile. All you need is one hostile actor and you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yet state leaders from both...
I agree. It's like, man, we are trying to be the leader when it comes to AI. This is a new technology. This is a new revolution. And we have to be the leader if we want to continue to be the superpower in the world. We have to be the leader. So if we got to get 50 different approvals just for AI to continue to grow, then it's going to take too long and China is going to win. Whoever wins this AI revolution is going to dominate the world. It's going to be the number one superpower. So it's important, if we want to continue to maintain our number one position in the world as a superpower, it's important for America to be the leader in AI. All right, let's check out some of these numbers. Okay, so we have let's go. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. All right, SPX is down almost 0.5% at 688.87. The NAS 100 is down a little over 1% at 25,519. The VIX is at 499. SPY is at 487. QQQ is at 621. Apple is at 278. Amazon is at 228. Google is at 311. Meta is at 647. Microsoft is at 478. NVDA at 181. Tesla 595. Tesla 458. AMD 218. Bitcoin 92,500. IBIT $52.50. Ethereum 3,230. BMNR $38. Palantir $138. Hood $124. Grab $525. XLG $59 and AVGO $371. How we looking on Hood? Because I do want to get in Hood. It did hit the 20% off mark, which is really a good entry. But when I look at this from a technical standpoint, they do have this gap right here. And I think it's very likely that this gap will get filled. And then it'll just bounce after it fills this gap, or it'll bounce at this 25% off, which is $116. So I do want to buy Hood in between 116 and 117. Okay, do we have any more news? I think we had some from Instagram. Yeah, so this is the Master Investor. This is the Master Investor here, Ian Dunlap from Market Mondays, Earn Your Leisure. He's talking about his investing strategy for the average investor.
Is to tech to index on a high level explanation.
You only need concentration in 4 assets to make you rich for a lifetime. And my formulation that I have given to the public, if I made you money from 2 tech to index, please put yes in chat. I think that you should have 2 index funds which anchor your portfolio. So if you miss out on a great company, they should be in there. Those tickers are VOO, VTI. The other 2 slots will go to tech companies, Microsoft, and Apple. So I think you only really need 4 great companies to tie your wealth to make it easy and simple for you.
What?
Okay, you only need 4 great investments to tie your wealth to make investing easy for you. Now, VOO and VTI are both expensive. So, VOO is the S&P 500. So, if you want a cheaper version of the S&P 500, previously it was SPLG. But they have changed that and made it easier for people to recognize that it's with the State Street bundle. So they changed SPLG to SPYM. So basically, it's like a mini version of SPY, which it is. So if you don't want to pay, let's see how much. I'm gonna give you the game, so you can get the same gains without having to pay that much. So VOO. It's currently $632. VOO is the largest version of the S&P 500. So if you want to go from a safety perspective, like I want to make sure that they're not going to go bankrupt. But if you go with any of the biggest ones, the big 3, you got Vanguard, you got BlackRock, you got State Street. If you go with any of those 3, those are the big 3. So you ain't really got to trip. that they're gonna run out of money. So what you can do, you can get the same gains from paying for one share of a VOO at $632, and you could buy SPYM, and you get the same S&P 500 shares. You get the same companies percentage-wise for $80.85. So why spend $600 when you could just spend $80, and then you get more? You get more shares for the same capital, and then when it's time for dividends, you get more dividends because you have more shares. And then he said VTI. How much is VTI? VTI is $339 per share. So if you want something cheaper, you can go with SPTM. It's not exactly VTI, but it is 1,500 companies. So VTI is a global stock market. Let me see if I can find it on here right quick. So this is the largest companies by market cap, but they do also have ETFs on here. So see, VOO is number one, 828 billion in market cap, and then you see VTI right here. VTI, 572 billion in market cap. So these are not going anywhere. And then this is the spider one that I was telling you about. This is SPY, 723 billion. So SPY, they have the mini version of it, which is SPTM. Which is SPYM, is the mini version of SPY. So SPY is number 2, so it's not going anywhere. And then iShares, that's BlackRock, VII. So as long as you have an ETF that is brought to you by one of these companies, then you're good. And here's also QQQ, Invesco, invest with Invesco. So QQQ is also a powerhouse when it comes to it. So yeah, any of these four, you're good. Any smaller ETF that is under these umbrellas, then you're good money. So SPTM is 1,500 stocks. So if you don't want to worry about too much volatility, so that's Ian's strategy. He's like, we're gonna have 2 technology companies to run a bag up, the 2 biggest by market cap, and then we're gonna have 2 indexes to have stability. So right now, if you were gonna do 2 tech, 2 index, you would do NVIDIA, Apple. NVIDIA has taken the number 1 spot. So if you were going to start today, you would do NVIDIA, Apple. If you didn't want to do VOO because it was too expensive, you could do SPYM. And if you didn't want to do VTI because it was too expensive, you could do SPTM. All right. And then remember we were talking about earlier, we were talking about Trump and his executive order. So Dan Ives put this on Twitter. He said, Trump AI executive order. This move is a major win for U.S. big tech firms, including OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Meta, and many more AI companies across the landscape that have been lobbying to limit AI state regulations. These will provide significant innovation hurdles. So this is a major win if you're invested in any of those companies. And then Amit, shout out to Amit, man. Amit actually is somebody who made millions from the stock market, and he does a show every day. And he actually motivated me to create my own show. So shout out to Amit. He said, NVIDIA is evaluating increasing production of H200 AI chips due to strong Chinese demand. Chinese demand for H200 chips ahead of NVIDIA's current production capacity sources say. Well, it looks like Chinese would like some more NVIDIA chips. Well, we seen Amit show, and then my brother was like, man, Trap should do a show. Trap should do a morning show. Because my brother, he the one that put me up on Amit. You know what I mean? So then he was like, man, Trap should do a morning show like Amit. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I'll do it. Shit. So, man, that's how the show came about, man. I'll do a show. So I'm knocking it out. I'm doing the show. And I mean, the show is so much better than it was when it first got started. So shout out to me for making improvements to my show. Alright. Carvana. I thought this was interesting because Carvana in the let me pull up Carvana's chart. So Carvana's chart is crazy. Because if you look at this. So this is a monthly chart. So every candle is 1 month. So if you look here, during COVID, before COVID, it was relatively cheap. And then once COVID happened, that thing ran. The bottom of COVID was $23. That thing ran up to $374 in August of 21. And then it fell like no other, down to $2 in December 2022. And since then, since May of 23, it's been on an uptrend. In May of 23, at the bottom, it was $11. And it's currently at $483. Oh my God, that is incredible. That is I'm sure nobody held it for that long. But if you bought it down here when it was, you know what I mean, less than $10, then you are rich. If you bought a lot. If it was less than $10 and you put a rack on that thing, you know what I mean, you made a bag. If you put 10 racks on that thing, you really made a move. My God, that is insane. So, yeah, on Transpider on Twitter, it said, if you put $10,000 into Carvana 3 years ago today, you'd be just shy of $1 million in 3 years. If you put $10,000, you'll be just shy of $1 million in 3 years. That is a dream trade. That is a dream trade, y'all. A dream trade. To be able to become a millionaire off of $10,000. But you would have had to been able to do the research to believe in it that much. Because you've seen how much it went down. Your conviction would have had to been through the roof to be able to put $10,000 into a company that went from almost $400 to under $10. What else? So they dropped Sam Altman, and where's my other piece of news on there? Sam Altman and I forget who else, but they dropped this app, and I wanted to play this video.
Introducing the New World app, the super app built for the real human network, redesigned, more everyday features, and faster than ever. With World Wallet, you can set up a virtual account in seconds, grow your balances with Earn, and trade hundreds of digital assets. Pay in your own currency and send digital funds, including local stablecoins, across borders in seconds. And even earn cash back each time you use your virtual world card. Simple, global, instant. With World Chat, you can connect and chat knowing you're talking to a real human and not a bot. And send funds across the real human network. All of your conversations are private with end-to-end encryption. Within World App, you're one tap away from hundreds of mini apps, spanning everything from play to payments. Open source and built by hundreds of builders around the globe, with new ones being added every day. World App is your easy and simple access to the real human network, built for humans and ready for the age of AI.
All right. I'm going to have to cut the show because I got to go to work, y'all. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. This has been your $1 trillion companies show, where we follow the big dogs, because that's where the money's at. Thank y'all for tuning in. I will be putting the link for the free interactive flashcards for beginners into the comments. So if you're listening to this later, you didn't catch it live, I will put that in there immediately. So peace, blessings, financial freedom. Y'all have a blessed day.